William Grant Hill, the Dean of African American Composers, by me. William Grant was born in Woodsville, Mississippi, and raised in Little Rock, Arkansas. He was a pioneering American composer, and though he initially studied medicine at Wilberforce University, he soon turned fully into music and later studied composition at Oberlin Conservatory and the New England Conservatory. Dubbed the Dean of African Americans, Still wrote nearly 200 works across symphonies, operas, ballets, chamber music, and vocal pieces. He achieved numerous historical firsts for an African American. The first being the first African American to have a symphony performed by a major U.S. orchestra. He was also the first African American to conduct a major orchestra, and the first to have an opera by a black composer produced by a major company with Trouble Island. Okay, so we're going to go down Will's major works, the first being Symphony No. 1 in A-flat minor. So this movement portrays longing with a 12-bar blues progression, and the second, Sorrow, reflects spiritual influence, and the third, which is dubbed Humor, features syncopated jazz-like motives and brass fanfares. Each movement is prefaced by epigraphs from Dunbar, tying the music to more poetic reflections on African American life. So for African American Symphony, which is Symphony No. 1, this is Still's most famous work, right? So it combined traditional four-movement symphonic forms with blues and jazz elements, and it also includes instruments like the tenor banjo and the celesta, and quotes epigraphs from Paul Laurence Dunbar's poetry. So the next one, Darker America. Still's kind of tone for Darker America weaves descending melodic curves and blues scales to express themes of grief and longing. It was first performed in 1926 and reflects early steps in his efforts to, integrate African American idioms into actual orchestral music. So for Darker America, it was an earlier orchestral work from Still. It reflected sorrow, hope, and spiritual prayer. It also used pentatonic and blues scales and draws directly from spiritual melodic types. So Still's opera called Trouble Island is set in Haiti during the revolution, during the Haitian Revolution at the time, and it portrays Jean-Jacques Dessalines' rise and fall. I'm sorry, I probably butchered that name, but although he completed the opera in 1939, its premiere was delayed until 1949, and it featured singers in blackface initially, white singers in blackface, right? But later performances embraced black casting, such as the 2009 and 2013 revivals of the opera. And so for Trouble Island, the opera is in 3 acts with libretto begun by Legiston Hughes and completed by Verna Arvey. It is set in 1791 Haiti, right, portraying the revolution. It also holds the distinction of being the first grand opera by an African American composer produced by a major U.S. company. William Grant Still's legacy cannot be underestimated. He deeply influenced spirituals, blues, and jazz music from years to come. He elevated idioms within classical forms while participating actively in the Harlem Renaissance. You should also take into account the fact that he really just pioneered the integration of African American musical elements into classical music. Again, he composed over 200 symphonies, operas, and chamber music, things like that. His opera Trouble Island again was the first by an African American to be performed by a major opera company. That was revolutionary for the time, and advocated for racial equality in arts, influencing future generations of composers and things like that. So, William Grant still did a lot of things for the African American community, and people have been very, very grateful for that, especially for all the things he's done for this style of particular music.